Hey guys, welcome to part 3 of What If ANBU Naruto Went Back in Time. If you enjoyed the video then like, share and subscribe for more and also support the original creator. So let's get started. Chapter 11. Everyone stood somewhat confused, looking at the large-chested woman. Naruto had more of a surprised look than anything. Tsunade looked at the group in front of her, her eyes settling upon Naruto. The blonde looked her right in the eye and immediately understood. Her eyes held warmth that he had come to know very well, and more importantly, recognition. Also, Naruto noticed a longing in her eyes as though she wanted nothing more than to give him a hug. Indeed she did. Had Naruto been alone, she probably would have done just that. Long time no see, brat. Tsunade finally said after a moment of staring. Yeah, I know you old hag, Naruto replied. Tsunade looked relieved for a brief moment from the reply, but quickly hid it. The only one that caught it was Naruto. I take it you two have met, Kakashi said, reading his beloved porn. Tsunade twitched at the sight of the book. Kakashi, she said in an overly sweet voice. He didn't even look up from his book. If you do not start showing up earlier, I swear I will hunt down Drea and make him stop writing those books. Then burn your collection. Kakashi gulped slightly. Okay, so let's get right into today's training exercise now. Everyone run as fast as you can that way. Kakashi pointed to his left. Until we get to the wall, then we run on the wall, sticking to it with chakra for 10 laps. Kakashi finished. Oh, and if I may, can I borrow Naruto for a minute? Tsunade said in her sweet voice. Kakashi flinched. No problem, he replied, then ran off after his students. Naruto laughed, before turning to Tsunade. He cleared his throat before giving the biggest grin he could. I come from the far-off future. I bring knowledge from 10 years ahead. Naruto waved his hands around, wiggling his fingers as he did so. Tsunade slapped her forehead. If I wasn't so happy to see you, I would have hit you for that. She glared. Sorry, I've been wanting to do that to someone for a while now. Naruto rubbed the back of his head. Tsunade shook her head. Just how did you end up back here anyway? I didn't see anyone else get sucked in after me, Naruto asked, raising an eyebrow. Tsunade closed her eyes. Well, after Orochimaru opened up that thing, he got sucked in. It closed after. Naruto nodded. I already know that, but that still. Tsunade put up a finger to silence him. I'm getting to that, brat. Anyway, Kakashi had his Sharingan activated and copied the jutsu he used. Drea classified it as a type of teleportation jutsu. He also picked up the Kyuubi's chakra. About a month later we tried to recreate the jutsu, and what Kyuubi did to influence it. We knew that you weren't dead, you were just somewhere else. We were hoping to bring you back. After we got everything recreated, almost all of us were drained of chakra. I was the only one who would have enough chakra left to survive the trip. We all secured ourselves, knowing it would suck us all in otherwise. I had a large rope tied to me on one end and to a tree on the other. But someone doesn't know how to tie knots properly. Tsunade twitched and started muttering death threats to Drea. And so you got sucked in completely, Naruto finished for her. Tsunade nodded. We thought it was just a rip into a different dimension, or something similar, and that it was unstable. We thought Kyuubi had used his chakra to make the trip safe. Had we known it was a time travel jutsu. Tsunade smirked. You would have gotten a longer rope, Naruto smiled back. How would you make a 10-year-long rope? Tsunade asked. Estimate? Naruto laughed. Also, I have good news and bad news about Hinata's pregnancy, Tsunade said, catching the boy's attention. Good news, everything is going /snicker/swimmingly. Bad news. Well, it might be twins. Naruto shook his head. That's not really bad news. You're not the one who's going to have to give birth. The happy moment relaxed Naruto, though good things never last. Yes, Guy-sensei, I am feeling the burn. Yes, Lee, that is the flame of youth. I again apologize for hiding my spandex of youth. It matters not if you have found the love of your life. It seems you've been busy. Tsunade said, seeing Lee and his red forehead and somewhat normal-looking outfit. Naruto nodded. I try my best. Is it just me, or do they get louder each time we see them? Tsunade asked. Let's just hope they don't notice us. I really don't want a hug. Luckily for everyone's eardrums, the two passed. Tsunade and Naruto talked until Haku came over to them. He happily declared that he had gotten everything he needed in his house, and that he had decided to take the offer Kakashi proposed to him when he helped him bring in all the larger items. Naruto explained who he was to Tsunade, who looked confused. But the best part was I even found a pet. I bought myself an Arctic hare at the pet store with my leftover money, Haku said. It was the pet I always wanted. I got it a cage to keep it in too. At this point Kakashi, Sakura, and Sasuke were retuning from their training. AKA, run away really fast to avoid being turned into a mushy bloody pulp. At first the rabbit was somewhat scared when I was sticking my hands in there, but soon it came around to me. It took it a while, but it eventually relaxed. I think if I do that each day, it will come around to me. The three out-of-breath joggers looked horrified. I really enjoy petting it. Haku finished. Why must you constantly put images in my head that I really don't want to be there? Sakura shuddered. AW. But I like the images, Kakashi said childishly. Everyone inched away from Kakashi. I don't understand, Haku said, confused. I think it's better if you didn't understand. Naruto said, placing a hand on the boy's shoulder. I envy you for that, Sasuke said, shaking his head, placing his hand on the other shoulder. Later that night, after he talked with Tsunade some more, they got Kakashi to finally stop her, tainting Haku by explaining his choice of reading material to him. Haku luckily was not used to hearing about this sort of thing, and had obviously never been taught it either. Eventually, it was just Tsunade and Naruto outside the apartment complex. Everyone else had gone with Haku. I know, but tomorrow if anyone needs me you know where I'll be. Naruto said to Tsunade. Well okay, good night. Tsunade said, giving up. She kissed his forehead. When he went to wipe his head on his sleeve she gave him a hug that only a motherly figure could give. Stay safe, she whispered before walking off. Naruto figured he would go home and grab the recipe that Haku had asked for before going over. Naruto sighed. Tomorrow's going to be a long day, he said aloud as he entered his apartment. He soon located the item he was looking for. He was about to leave when he noticed something that wasn't there before. A hole in his kitchen wall. He got down on his hands and knees to examine the hole. It was dark on the other side. I think I'll be able to fit, Naruto thought as he began to push through the hole. Probably another rat hole. Once through, he realized he was in an area where he could stand. A small light was coming through a crack on the side. A door. Naruto raised a hand to push open the door and... Chapter 12. Naruto raised a hand to push open the door and... Gala. A loud gasp came from Naruto's left. He turned to look and there was Haku, holding a piece of wood. Sheesh, you don't have to yell, Naruto said, poking a finger into his ear. Well, I'm just not used to people coming out of the closet, Haku retorted. Heh, sorry. But I saw a hole in my kitchen wall and I thought it was a rat, Naruto said sheepishly. Nope, no rats, Snowflake did it, Haku replied. The rabbit. Yeah. Okay. Oh, here, I got the recipe for you. Why did you want it, anyway? Naruto asked, handing him the card. Well, I wanted to try the chicken. Haku sounded slightly unsure of himself. Sakura at this moment walked in carrying a box. So when? Hiya Naruto? What are you doing here so soon? She sounded panicked and tried to hide her box behind her back. Naruto pretended he didn't notice. I was about to patch up that hole for you, Haku interrupted, trying to distract him while Sakura slipped away. Haku then put the piece of wood over the hole and finally put a laundry hamper in front of it to keep his rabbit from causing any more damage in the area. Haku, are you going to the festival tomorrow? Naruto asked, changing the subject and trying to sound cheery. I don't know yet, he replied. I'm not going, Naruto said, but I'll tell you where to find me if you need me. I never really like the festival. Too loud. Anyway, I will be atop the tallest tree closest to the fourth Hokage's head on the monument. Okay, Haku nodded, looking slightly confused. I have a feeling I know what my teammates are up to, Naruto thought. Aloud, he asked, do you need my help with anything else? No, it is all right, I have enough help. But maybe you should go through the front door to go back home now, Haku hollered out the door. Naruto took the hint and got up to leave. Yep, just as I thought. A conspiracy. Naruto chuckled to himself. Haku may be good at hiding, but he needs more work on covering up for things like this. On his way out, Naruto saw Hinata and Lee also in Haku's house, not to his surprise. When did you two get here? Naruto asked innocently, raising an eyebrow. Why, when you were getting the youthful recipe, of course. Lee shouted. The youthful genin was still wearing the outfit from earlier, a light green collared shirt with dark green track pants, much to the relief of all spandex-fearing folk. Sakura hit him. Quiet down. There are probably people trying to sleep. She shouted, ignoring her own advice. You going to leave or what, dope? Sasuke asked exasperatedly from the wall he was leaning against. Yash minus Lee started to yell before Sakura cleared her throat. Yash. That is very unyouthful, but that is what makes you a worthy rival. Lee exclaimed in a slightly softer tone, fire in his eyes. Don't worry, and Naruto, you can get home and take a rest. Hinata said. Naruto sighed in defeat, went home and went to bed, shaking his head at the obviousness of his friend's behavior. The next morning Naruto awoke to the sound of the parade celebrating the death of the Kyuubi. He sighed. Some things just didn't go as planned. Damn. I was dreading this. Because I got to the wave mission about a week early, we got back a week early, and I didn't miss this. He stared out his window at his destination. Although in the past he would have sat atop the fourth Hokage's head, now he preferred to sit overlooking the mountain. He plotted out the easiest way to get there and, once dressed, followed his usual route, jumping from roof to roof and avoiding all the people. He quickly reached the tree and was in his spot in no time. He summoned out Kyuubi so he could at least have someone to talk to. The leaves and branches on the top of the tree made good camouflage, and he was guaranteed a good amount of privacy since the only clear opening through the greenery was down from the mountain. Naruto idly shuffled the cards he had brought. Your pick, he said to the fox. Go fish. Kyuubi replied while sharpening his claws on one of the nearby branches. As long as you don't cheat this time. Sure. Take away all my fun. I still don't really understand why he didn't tell any of us, Sakura said as she walked out of a shop carrying a bag. She had recruited assistants in the forms of Shikamaru and Choji. While the latter went along cheerfully enough, the former slouched along wishing he was cloud watching. Maybe he just doesn't want to make a big deal out of it. Hinata asked, playing with something in her bag. Makes sense to me, all of this is too troublesome. Shikamaru said, looking up at a cloud slowly moving past. What? Are you kidding me? It's an excuse to eat ice cream and cakes. Chaochi said between mouthfuls of chips. He would never understand why anyone would give up a chance at free food. So anyway, Sakura said pointedly, glaring at the boys behind her, making the two gulp. Once we get the last of this up, Hinata, you and Haku get Naruto, and bring him back to Haku's apartment. And that's when we'll get him. Hinata nodded, and they continued on. Hey, yeah. That looks really good. Sakura said, turning to examine what Hinata was doing. Put that up a little higher so it's flush with the door frame, she said to Haku. Sasuke. That's perfect. She cooed, causing him to sweat, dropping just putting cups on a table, he thought somewhat disbelievingly. I put the cake in the fridge. Uruka yelled out. All right. Sakura called back. She was supervising everything, a general in charge of her worker minions, making sure everything was perfect. Sakura then turned to Shikamaru, the only one of her worker minions not actually working. I don't exactly know why you're here, but you could help. She scolded. I'm here because our team had the day off and I do not want to spend it with Ino, he replied, opening an eye. Sakura sighed at the laziness, but was determined to conscript him. You could blow these up. She handed him some multicolored balloons. Shikamaru sighed deeply and began blowing them up. Slowly. Once he tied the balloon slowly, he looked up to Sakura, who was still hovering over him. Why are you getting so crazy over this? I thought you hated him, Shikamaru said with a yawn. Well, yeah, I do, but still I love parties and this is as good an excuse as any to have one. That, and the party was actually Hinata's idea. Sakura then went off over to the table to tell Sasuke what a good job he was doing. Within a few hours everything was set up and Haku and Hinata went to find Naruto. So you know where he is, right? Hinata asked, looking around the dimly lit patch of forest they were in. Yes. We just need to find. Well, that actually Haku said, pointing to the tree Naruto told him of earlier. Wow, it's so beautiful. Is that him there? Hinata asked, gazing at the large tree and peering through the leaves. It very well might be, or just a shadow of the leaves, Haku replied. Got any twos? Nope, any jacks. Damn, Naruto said, handing them over. Heh. Oh, by the way, there are a couple of your friends at the bottom of this tree. Damn. Well, I'll leave you to it then. Please stop with the tree jokes, Naruto asked, exasperated. Why? Am I barking up the wrong one? Should I go out on a limb and say yes? I really hate you at the moment. Why, am I getting into a shady area? I really hate you. Quit being such a sap. Quit it. You should see a psychiatrist and get to the root of your anger problem. Fine then, do whatever you want, but I'm going to leave now. And here I thought I was starting to grow on you. Naruto growled as he jumped down from his spot. Hinata looked up in time to see Naruto jumping down right in front of her. I guess it was him. Haku said. Hinata looked as if she'd just been shocked. A bit of red crept out from her cheeks. So what is it you guys are here for? Naruto asked, smiling as much as possible. We would like you too. Hinata trailed off. Come back too. Help. Me. Naruto blinked and looked up. The sun was setting in the distance, and he guessed it was about 4 o'clock. While he was distracted, Hinata and Haku had a quick consultation. Maybe we should have thought over a plan before we came. Hinata whispered. Choose paint colors? Haku finished in a hurry. Choose paint colors? Naruto asked, raising an eyebrow. Haku and Hinata nodded somewhat nervously. Okay. Sure. How about a light blue? Naruto asked, a hand on his chin. Perhaps a nice red? Haku replied, keeping the conversation going. Well, for a kitchen, how about green? Hinata said, looking down to the sidewalk. Yeah, then it'll look nice with the bathroom, Naruto nodded. Well, we can decide which exactly when we get in there, right? There was a pause, while the three stood outside the door of Haku's apartment. Naruto stifled a grin as he heard various rustlings and murmurings coming from behind the door. Haku? He finally asked. Yes. It would be easier to get in once you unlock the door. Oh. Sorry. Haku retrieved a key from his pocket. I will open my door now. He said, a little louder than necessary. As Haku fiddled with his door, the rustlings from behind it abruptly stopped. Then a few crashes were heard, then finally an expectant silence. A small click was heard when the key had unlocked the lock. Haku opened the door to darkness and stepped inside, followed by Naruto and Hinata. Suddenly, and completely by surprise. Really, a light came on and everything came to life, accompanied by various shouts. Surprise! Happy birthday! Woo! ZZEE! Pop! Naruto blinked, or rather twitched, at the setup in front of him. He started, but was cut short. I saw why your birthday marked on your C calendar and... Hinata trailed off. I'm actually surprised Kakashi just popped in almost on time. Naruto said in amazement, causing everyone to turn to the perpetually tardy teacher. You're late. Sakura screamed. I made it just as you all shouted surprised, Kakashi said, smiling under the mask. You were supposed to be here to help set up, then to help surprise him. Sakura said angrily. But he was almost in time, Sasuke said in amazement, staring at a dot on the ceiling. Yes, see, now wasn't that surprising? Kakashi asked, eye crinkling. I give up, Sakura said and sat down next to a sleeping Shikamaru. Choji was starting to get into the chip bowl, and had at least one of every snack on the table on his plate. Someone had stuck a party favor in Shikamaru's mouth so when he exhaled it would unravel, stick out straight, and make a noise. Amazingly, he managed to continue sleeping even through the noise. Sasuke was grumbling in a corner wearing a pointed hat that no doubt Sakura had made him put on. Kakashi had taken to helping hold up the wall, a very necessary task, while reading his beloved book. Lee was trying to help Sakura get up from where she had collapsed next to Shikamaru. Hinata was by Naruto's side, twiddling her fingers around a wrapped-up box with a bow. Haku had gone to the kitchen with Uruka to get the cake. Hinata finally gathered up enough courage and handed the box to Naruto, blushing more than ever. You shouldn't have, Hinata, he said, looking down at the little box. The party was enough. Naruto unwrapped the little box to find a first aid kit with ointments and other things that would definitely come in handy. I know how hard you train yourself, and I know how beat up you get, so I thought that this would help you out. Hinata stammered, looking down at her feet. Thank you, Naruto said with a soft smile. Before Hinata could look up, she felt his arms slink around her waist, pulling her into a hug. When she did look up, in surprise, Naruto kissed her on the forehead. Instantly she turned red and slumped over, passing out yet again. Wow, you're a real lady killer, Sasuke said, smirking. Naruto's eye twitched. Is it everyone's goal today to drive me insane with bad puns? Naruto asked the ceiling, getting some weird looks from the people there. The ceiling did not reply. Maybe you should let her lay down, Kakashi said, freeing up the nearby couch. Naruto placed the red-faced girl down on the couch, scratching the back of his head. I really hope she gets over that soon, he thought. It was then that the cake was brought out with its candles lit, and the chorus of Happy Birthday started, with everyone joining in. Minus Hinata, who remained passed out on the couch. And Shikamaru, who when someone kicked him, almost inhaled the party favor stuck in his mouth, and was too busy choking to sing. After the singing, Naruto was given a present that was signed from everyone, a ramen gift card with enough on it for a month's supply easily, even for Naruto. After that, everyone just talked, or slept, for the remainder of the night. Sakura, tired from her valiant efforts to organize everything, had fallen asleep on Lee, who was ecstatic that his love was touching him. Sasuke looked at the two with an almost relived expression. After a while, people started leaving after helping to clean up. Lee awoke Sakura as carefully as he could before moving. Hinata had awoken on her own, and had gotten another thank you from Naruto before leaving. Kakashi had put away his book and moved to awaken Shikamaru by pushing him until he opened his eyes. With a yawn and a stretch, he too was soon gone. Only Team 7 was left. Kakashi cleared his throat, getting his team's attention. So then, I guess I should be off. I want to meet you on the bridge at 8 tomorrow, alright? That includes you, Haku. Now that you're settled, you should be able to come too. And with that, he jumped out the window. He does realize that that is about a 10-story drop, right? Haku asked, staring out the window Kakashi left from. If he is at the bottom of the building in a heap tomorrow, you'll know, Sasuke said in a monotone. Well, I guess I should get going. Sasuke, would you walk me home? Sakura asked, lacking her usual exuberance when talking to Sasuke. Sasuke sighed. I will walk with you until we need to go in different directions, he stated. Which meant to the street corner. Soon they too left. Haku had gotten some lettuce out of the fridge to give to his rabbit Snowy as he said goodbye to Naruto. As Naruto closed Haku's door behind him, he heard a voice say, well, that was interesting. Naruto glanced over his shoulder to look at the person in question. There stood Tsunade smirking. They gave me a surprise birthday party, and I learned that Haku can make almost anything sound disturbing. Naruto said, thinking back to one of the conversations he had with him that night. Well, you're making friends a lot faster this time. Naruto nodded. So I take it you wanted to wish me a happy birthday too? He asked. Yes, and give you this. She held out a box that was about an arm's length long. Naruto opened it and smiled. Thanks, he said sincerely. In the box was a cape almost exactly like his father's, as well as Tsunade's necklace. Since I know you can already do the Rasengan, I'll give you that as well. Naruto nodded his thanks. See you later, brat. And with that she was gone. Chapter 13. Naruto awoke with a yawn the next morning. He looked over at the time and sighed. It was a little bit past 6 o'clock. I vow to one day be able to sleep in. He half shouted to the ceiling. He stood up and stretched before going about his repetitive morning tasks. By the time he was done it was only 6:30. Sighing, he looked at the cape Tsunade had given him. He was already wearing the necklace, but decided to wait before wearing the cape. He turned to leave his apartment, and was quite surprised to see Haku standing right in front of him, hand raised, about to knock on his door. Hi. Naruto blinked in surprise of being only 3 inches from the other boy's face. Oh, good, you are up. Kakashi told me if I liked I could join Team 7, and I took his offer. He told me that I had to meet him on the bridge, but, well, he didn't exactly tell me how to get there. Naruto sighed. Yay, he does have a tendency to leave out the important stuff. Flashback. Okay, so we're supposed to raid this sound ninja camp, everyone got that? Alright, move. Kakashi said to Naruto, Lee and Sakura. The 3 nodded and moved out to the perimeter. They entered through an air duct that was located to the side that Lee had found. They moved quickly, but silently. This is so gross, Sakura complained. Her teammates nodded in agreement. Naruto was in front of the line when he saw the target room. He motioned to his teammates, then quickly pushed open the grate. So nice of you to drop in. What took you so long? Kakashi smiled over the heap of chunin. Where did? Sakura started. How the hell did you get here before us? Naruto yelled. The door was unlocked, it was in the briefing I got. He waved a few pieces of paper in front of their faces. I guess I forgot to tell you that. Oh, and before I forget, this place has also been abandoned for some time, so you really didn't need to sneak around too much. Kakashi was then beaten and bruised quite badly. End flashback. I see that perhaps I should have asked a more detailed question. Haku said in understanding. Naruto nodded in agreement. Well, if you want. I can hold him down while you beat him, would that help? Haku smiled slightly. The 2 exited the apartment building and looked to their left to see if Kakashi was in a heap on the concrete below the window. Turns out him wasn't, he probably just stuck to the side of the building and walked down, but it would still be funny to see. Naruto mused aloud. Haku nodded in agreement. The bridge that Kakashi was talking about isn't that far from here. Naruto said, smirking. All you really have to do is follow that river over there. Naruto pointed off to the right where the river was seen between the trees. Oh, I see. Haku said, slightly embarrassed about not knowing. About 15 minutes later they were at the bridge. So why it is no one else is here yet? Haku asked after looking around. What time did Kakashi tell you to be at the bridge? Naruto asked. 6:30, why? Haku raised a brow at the face Naruto made. Well then that means you had until 9 o'clock to get here. Naruto said through clenched jaw. He's always 3 hours late, so we just sleep in until about 2.5 hours after the time he said to arrive. Naruto said. However, I always wake up around 6-ish out of habit, so I usually train for a few hours or go shopping. Whatever needs to be done first. So shall we train then? Haku asked. If you want to, but believe me, I won't go easy on you. And now I know your weakness. Naruto said jokingly. You're not going to kiss me, are you? Haku backed away slightly. No, Naruto managed to laugh out. For about an hour the 2 worked on hand-to-hand training, then from then until Sakura showed up they were working on their jutsus and weapon precision. Naruto made quite a few of his shadow clones, while Haku used them for target practice. Haku almost always hit the clone with his senbon needles, and Naruto purposely missed with his shuriken and kunai. When Sakura showed up, she was more than happy to take out a few clones for her target practice. When Sasuke arrived, he sulked in the corner until Naruto sent all the clones out to taunt him. Who knew that 100 Naruto clones singing "You can't hit us na 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 na" while sticking their tongues out blowing raspberries could make Sasuke so motivated? He then took out every clone that came his way in any way he could before turning on the original. Before he could pound on the tired blonde, however, Kakashi appeared in his usual smoky way. Everyone turned towards the popping noise to see Kakashi. Naruto sat down and awaited his daily lie. "I'm sorry, I'm late, but I had to fill out all this really complicated paperwork to get you all into the Chunin exams," Kakashi said, rubbing the back of his head with one hand and holding a few papers in a folder in the other. "Liar." "Oh wait, that sounds plausible," Sakura said, blinking in surprise. Naruto twitched slightly at the mention, but kept up his happy demeanor. "Wow, really, we're going to take the Chunin exams?" Naruto jumped up, latching onto Kakashi's neck. "Now I'll get to be even closer to my dream." Kakashi tried to pull the idiot off him, but to no avail. Kakashi made a raspy, gasping noise that sounded vaguely like air. Naruto released him from his grip, and Kakashi rubbed his neck. "Here," he rasped. Naruto took the folder that he handed him and opened it up. He quickly read through it quickly before passing it on. "They start in a few days, so I think it would be best to rest up and recuperate your energy," Kakashi said, his only visible eye crinkling, which meant he was smiling. Kakashi then spent about an hour explaining the process of the Chunin exams and why they are held. Then he left the team to go rest, but of course no one moved. Instead, they sat there until Naruto got up enough energy to make more clones for everyone to have more target practice. It was a little past midday when they decided to go their separate ways. Well, sort of. Sasuke tried to leave alone, but Sakura followed after and Haku followed Naruto, having nothing better to do. Naruto and Haku decided to get some ramen. On their way there, however, they were interrupted by a masked ninja. Naruto stared at him blankly for a minuet before making a fist and smacking it into his other hand. "Oh right," he said aloud, finally remembering who he was. Well, well. What have we here?" "Two little lost boys," said the random ninja. No. We were just going over there to get something to eat," Haku said, raising a brow. "Oh well, I thought you two pipsqueaks were coming over to me. And here, I thought you wanted to play," the random guy said. "Nope, we're just hungry," Haku said happily. "You do realize I'm trying to start a fight, right?" The guy's sweat dropped. Naruto was snickering inwardly. It was too amusing to watch this. "Very well then," Haku turned, needles drawn. The guy made a clone and went for both Haku and Naruto at once. Haku quickly dodged and retaliated with a pinpoint shot that would have killed him. The clone poofed away. Naruto quickly punched the guy in the face, but ended up with a log. "Humph. I guess you were stronger than I had anticipated." A voice came from seemingly all around them. There was a small rustle, then silence. "So, how about that ramen then?" "Yay, let's go." "So how did they do?" Kakashi asked as a figure appeared behind him. "Sakura's as bright as ever and Sasuke still rushes in." The figure came closer to Kakashi and the moonlight illuminated his face. "But that Haku is extremely powerful and has pinpoint accuracy." "But Naruto?" Uruka trailed off. Kakashi nodded. "He does seem like he fits a different description than what was in the academy reports." Uruka nodded as well. "I mainly wanted to test his temper. Normally Naruto has such a short fuse and is a bit of a hot head, but when I was trying to get him to attack he waited. I have never known Naruto to be one to analyze his opponent before going into battle. And he had a different look in his eyes when he fought from before." Uruka was now standing right beside Kakashi. "Maybe he has matured more than I give him credit for," Uruka said before jumping away. "Perhaps. Or maybe it's something more," Kakashi said aloud before he too jumped away. The next few days went by quickly for everyone. Sasuke trained his eyes to use the Sharingan, Sakura continued her chakra control, and Haku and Naruto spared off in taking out at least half of Konoha's population of trees. When Naruto was alone though he trained with Kyuubi with just one thought pouring through him: I won't let it happen. Soon the day approached, and everyone was in a hurry. Team 7 with their new member had agreed to meet up at the bridge before going to the place where the first half of the exams were being held. The four of them were walking up to the building when they were stopped by a man wearing black and had a mummy on his back. "Hey, watch it!" he yelled. The girl beside him turned to glare at him. "Don't start, Kankuro. Gaara will be back any second now, and remember what he said," she said. "But one of these little punks brushed into me." Naruto's eye twitched. "It wasn't even us, it was that guy with the glasses." "Kabuto?" Naruto bit his lip to stop from screaming at the memories that he had just brought back. A low growl-like noise was heard from behind Kankuro. Everyone turned to see a boy with a gigantic gourd on his back. "Come on, don't bother picking fights. Or else I will have no choice but to let the vultures pick at your dead carcass," he said. "We didn't mean it, right?" Kankuro said, elbowing Sasuke. "Who are you?" Sasuke said sharply. "I am Gaara of the desert," replied Gaara, focusing on Naruto, who was still biting his lip. Gaara's mouth twitched in a way that could be described as a smile. Your name?" Gaara demanded. Naruto blinked and replied in monotone, "Naruto Uzumaki." "Well then, Naruto Uzumaki. I'll be looking forward to seeing you in the fights later on." And with that they left. "Naruto, calm yourself. Just remember that those things are the things that we want to change. But did you honestly not notice the demon chakra leaking off you?" "Sorry and no. Just remember I have put more of my chakra into your system recently, so it may go off with your emotions. Although only a little leaked out, and most would mistake that for your human chakra. Gaara's Shukaku would sense it as demonic," Kyuubi said simply. "It's been so long since Gaara has been like that, I guess I forgot about him being a sadistic bastard." Naruto sighed but kept walking. "Oh, don't be so glum." The Kyuubi snickered. "I'm sure you will be able to branch out to him so your friendship can blossom in no time at all. I swear if you don't stop, I will inflict excruciating pain upon you. Remember, don't let your anger get into full bloom." The fox smiled, knowing full out that he was annoying the hell out of Naruto. "I give up." Naruto shook his head as they kept on walking. They carried on their way, until they came to a door, which there were a number of people outside. Naruto stood, but didn't really pay much attention to what was going on. He was lost to his painful memories. "I have to stop that from happening. If I don't, I don't know what I'll do," Naruto thought to himself. "You are coming?" Sasuke asked, raising an eyebrow. "Hugh." Naruto looked around and noticed all the people that were at the door were dispersing. "Oh, yeah," he replied in a low tone and kept moving. Sakura stopped him with a hand on his shoulder. "What's with you? I'm surprised that you aren't screaming at the top of your lungs by now." "No, nothing's wrong. I'm fine," Naruto said, still in his thought. "Ever since we entered the building you've been acting really weird," Sakura said. "He seems stressed," Haku said, with a bit of concern. "Don't worry, I'm sure he's just worried that I'm going to beat him to being a chunin," Sasuke said with a smirk. Naruto hummed as he kept walking. "Yep, something's bothering him," Sasuke said, shrugging. They soon walked into a large room with a few pillars. They didn't think much of it until Yash. That got Naruto's attention. He looked up and was quickly discouraged. Lee had his spandex back on. Although you couldn't really blame him. Better to ruin the clothes that everyone cringes at rather than the clothes that look somewhat normal. "I come to challenge you, Sasuke. I shall prove to you that I can surpass any born genius with perseverance." Lee screamed his challenge. "I would rather not," Sasuke said simply. But I challenged you." Lee furrowed his brow. "Yes, and we can fight later, but if you notice the time, we really should be going," Sasuke said, motioning to a clock on the wall. "Our time will soon perspire if we do not hurry. We won't be able to take the test at all. On second thought, fight away," Naruto said, finishing in a happy tone. That got him some strange looks from everyone in the room. I thought you said becoming a Chunin would only put you one step closer to becoming the Hokage. Sakura said, suddenly worried. And I don't think I've ever seen you that happy about missing out on something like that. Sasuke finished Sakura's thoughts. Haku nodded in agreement. Damn, now they know for sure something's up. I was hoping that if we couldn't take the exam at all, I wouldn't have to worry about all the stuff that started there. Naruto thought, well, I was. Trying to use reverse psychology. Naruto said, smiling nervously. Then walked away. Ah. He is right. We shall prove who is the better fighter another day. And with that last burst of enthusiasm, Lee ran after Naruto. What scares me most is Naruto used all his words in a proper way. Sakura said, beginning to follow Naruto and Lee. Hell, I didn't even know he had that big of a vocabulary. Sasuke said. They made it to the exam room with a few minutes to spare. Once inside, they met up with the other genin who were taking the exam. The 9 genin were all chatting until a man brought their attention. He was thrown across the room by a sound ninja and landed right in front of the group. You okay, buddy? Kiba asked. Yeah, I'm fine. The man said. He had large round glasses and silvery white hair. Naruto once again bit his lip. Hinata looked up over to him, but quickly looked away as he turned to her. Naruto managed to tune in just as Kabuto was talking about his cards. Indeed, anyone you want, I can get their info on. He smiled. Alright, I'll try Gaara of the Desert, Rock Lee, and he whispered the last name. Well, it's no fun if you know their names. Alright, here. He held up 3 cards. Sasuke read them over silently. Well, this is interesting. Naruto has question marks, as well as that Gaara. But Lee looks like he has almost no chakra. The only thing on Naruto's and Gaara's card is the birth date, what missions they've been on. It also says that Naruto has a lot of stamina. Lot of help, that is. No sooner had Sasuke handed back the cards, the examiner came in and everyone took their place. Naruto ignored the speech given and flipped his paper when he was told to. He looked down at the questions, picked up his pencil and began doodling. About a half hour later, Hinata, who was beside him, looked over and was shocked to see what he was doing. She was about to say something when a kunai whizzed by her head and hit the desk behind her. Number 48 out. One of the examiners yelled. Whoever his teammates are, please leave also. The 3 left. As the test dragged on, more and more people began failing. A loud slam of the desk got everyone's attention. Alright, time's up. Now, for the 10th question. Ibiki hollered into the crowd. If you pass, you will move on, but if you fail, you will only not proceed to the next round, but you will be forbidden to take the test again. Numerous gasps were heard around the room. I'm not all that mean though. If you wish to quit, now you may raise your hand and wait. You will not move on, but you will also be able to take the test next time around. The interrogator smiled. A number of people put up their hand and left. Naruto looked around and saw Sakura was about to put up her hand. Naruto smiled. If she gets us out of this, then maybe Sasuke won't. I wouldn't have come myself because we would need 3-man teams, but I'm not about to explain to everyone that I knew what was going to happen. You could have always said you were a psychic. No, they'd just think I was a psychopath. Naruto outwardly smirked at the face he saw in his mind's eye if he said he could see the future. Unfortunately, she caught sight of Sasuke, who was shaking his head, so she put her head down and waited. Ibiki then announced that they all pass and explained the meaning behind the test. I would raise my hand to get us out of here, but I can see where that would leave me. Who are you, and what have you done with Naruto? Then I'll probably be tortured until I admit the truth. Then I'll be tortured even more, because no one would believe me. Naruto thought, shaking his head. Well, on the positive side, you can always think up ways to get back at that snake freak. Is that all of you who are going to quit? Ibiki smiled as he looked around the room. Last chance. One person raised their hand, and the team was escorted out. Okay, then here's the 10th question. He let that hang there in case anyone else decided to quit. No one raised their hands, so he continued, "You all pass." There was quite a bit of murmur around the room. "Well, maybe we can allow him to bleed from everywhere in his body, then crush him under a huge heavy rock," Naruto suggested. "No, we cut him to the brink of death, rip him open, pull out his eternal organs, stuff them down his throat with an exploding note, then burn him to death," the Kyuubi suggested. "I don't really think that we need to be that sadistic about it." Naruto looked up from his conference with the demon just in time to see Anko jump in through a window. "Alright, listen here. The second part of this exam will begin in half an hour. Please go to this spot and get there as soon as possible." She pointed to something on the billboard that looked like a map. "This is where we're going, so get moving." She walked to the back door and was about to leave when she turned around to face the classroom. "That means follow me. Now," she screamed. In an instant, everyone was gone. Chapter 14. Naruto stood in the large opening that was outside the forest with Sasuke, Sakura and Haku standing beside him. A fake smile plastered across his face as he glared at a grass nin. Anko was giving instructions on what was going to be the second part of their exams. "Forest of Death." Sasuke repeated the words with a smirk. "Well, what did you expect? The forest of happy rainbows, sugar and fairies?" Naruto said, smirking. "Well, no, but I think that would have been a lot more scary," Sasuke said with a smile. Naruto laughed at the small joke, trying his best to remain happy. Whoosh! A kunai whizzed by Naruto's head, grazing his cheek between his whisker marks. "Hey, what was that for?" Naruto half yelled at the half-mad examiner. She jumped behind Naruto and spoke into his ear. "Do you think the Forest of Death is a joke? There are things in there much worse than just enemy ninja." Maybe." Naruto raised a brow at the expression he was given. Then a tongue slipped by his face and handed Anko back her kunai. "Just thought I should return this," the man said in a slippery voice. "Why, thank you," Anko said before going back and explaining about the scrolls. Naruto stepped on the masquerading nin. The man grunted in pain and shook his foot slightly. "Oops, sorry." Naruto sneered out with a glare that could make someone's blood run cold before walking a few steps away. Within a half hour, everyone was standing at a gate waiting for the signal to go. Once the gates flung open, all the teams ran in as fast as possible. "So Sasuke?" Sakura asked as they were running. Sasuke answered. "Well, what are we going to do if we have to fight someone? We will just take them out," he explained simply. "I agree, we do have a one-man extra advantage," Haku said, coming beside Sakura. "That makes me wonder though. How Kakashi got us all to compete together. I mean, I doubt the Hokage would simply give us the advantage. There has to be a catch somewhere," Naruto said, coming up beside Sasuke. "And how right you are." Anko's voice came up behind them. Naruto watched as the odd woman came up from behind them. "Ha, knew it," Naruto said with a smile. "So what's the catch?" Sasuke asked, pretending to not care. "Simple, your supplies are to be more limited. Where other teams are allowed as many things as they can carry, you four are only allowed a set amount of weapons and solder pills," Anko said with a devious smirk. "You're allowed no more than 10 kunai apiece, as well as 10 shuriken or other choice weapons," she said, holding her hand out expectantly. The confused genins reluctantly handed over more than half their weapons. "No more than 12 soldier pills, that's 3 apiece." More supplies were handed over. "So that's it then?" Sakura asked, somewhat surprised. "Yes, this will make it harder if you come across an enemy. You must value your supplies, knowing that what you have is very limited," Anko said with a solemn smile. And with that she was gone, taking the extra provisions with her. A few minutes later the buzzer sounded, and the race was on. Everyone ran off in different directions. Naruto ran off quickly with his team in close pursuit. He was going fast and had no plans on stopping anytime soon, hoping that he might be able to avoid the Snake Man completely. After a long time running, it started to get dark, and it wasn't long before they needed to set up for camp. Naruto was on full alert now, jumping and flinching at every rustling noise he heard or every shadow he saw flash by. Sasuke finally gave up ignoring his antics and went over to him. Quietly. Sasuke wasn't much of a prankster, but Naruto was pretty much giving him this one on a silver platter. Sasuke snuck up from behind Naruto and laid a hand on his shoulder. Naruto flinched but relaxed as he looked up to Sasuke. "Quit it," Naruto said, jumping at the wind. "Oh come on dope, you're scared of the wind now. Acting like a scaredy cat isn't going to help if we get attacked. But don't worry, I'll be there to save your sorry ass." Sasuke smirked as he sat down beside the now shivering Naruto. "I'm not the one who's going to need saving," Naruto said, not looking at Sasuke, instead seemed to be focusing on his own little world. "But this time I won't let that happen to you." Sasuke looked rather confused about the last part, and was about to ask when a loud noise came from behind. A giant snake came hurtling towards the four, almost imitating a torpedo. They moved out of its way and grouped together. Naruto ran straight for it, kunai at the ready. He hit the snake, but it dodged at the last possible moment, so he didn't hit its forehead, but instead hit the hard underbelly. Haku then came running in, throwing several shuriken. The snake slithered out of the way of most of them, but a few caught it. Sakura and Sasuke were also throwing various sharp and pointy objects at the snake, but from a farther distance. The snake hissed as Naruto and Haku threw more kunai and shuriken at the reptile, diminishing their supplies. However, while everyone was focusing on its head, its tail was slowly slinking around Naruto and Haku. "Look out!" Haku yelled when he noticed. It was too late. As the two tried to jump, the snake coiled around the two, squeezing them together back to back. They were being held too tightly to move. Before either Haku or Naruto could even think about how to save themselves as well as the other, the snake reeled its head back. "Ah crap," Naruto said as he saw the snake open its jaws wide. "Great last words, Naruto," Sasuke said sarcastically. Naruto was about to reply, but the snake had swallowed them. The snake licked its lips and began to slither away. "Naruto." "Haku," Sakura said, blinking. "Come on, it's getting away," Sasuke yelled as he began to take off. They didn't get far as they ended up running into a tall, pale man. Well, he smirked maliciously. "It seems my pet has caught itself a snack and lured the prey right to me. Let them go," Sakura screamed at the man. "Oh dear, quite a temper. Perhaps if you had asked nicely, I would have given them back to you." The man smiled. "You bastard," Sasuke yelled as he charged towards the man. Now, children," the pale man said as he looked Sasuke right in the eye. He instantly stopped and began to quiver, willing his legs to keep moving. "I need to do something or else everyone will." She bit her lip as he threw a number of weaponry at the man. This caused him to break eye contact with Sasuke, giving him time to jump back. "Well, it seems to me that you have a heaven scroll." He pulled out a dark scroll and smirked an evil smirk. "If you want this earth scroll." He paused a moment to swallow it. "You'll have to kill me to get it." An evil laugh escaped his lips. "UWW," Sakura and Sasuke said together as they watched his throat bulge as the scroll went down. The two stood there watching the scroll go down his throat when the snake exploded. Earlier, inside the snake, Naruto looked up as the snake's jaws closed over him. It was almost completely dark, but it seemed as the snake's skin let in light. He felt himself being squished against Haku and grabbed onto him. Unfortunately, the snake swallowed. "Ah, this has got to be the most disgusting thing I've ever been through," Haku said as a bit of saliva fell on his cheek. "Haku, don't worry, I can get us out of." Naruto started, but was interrupted. "I mean, why would one enjoy being crammed into warm, moist openings and rubbed in a throbbing motion?" Haku said, turning a little green. "I don't think this guy would appreciate it if you got sick in his stomach," Naruto said, looking over at his sickly friend. The inside of the snake was pulsing back and forth to its heartbeat and was rocking Haku. He looked more like he was going to be seasick more than anything. "I'm getting us out of here now," Naruto said, twitching as huge blob of something fell on him and Haku. He quickly put his hands into a seal. Kaboom! The snake exploded in slime, smoke, and other things. Sakura saw Sasuke and the pale man with a scroll still visible through his esophagus. Ga so. Disgusting. Haku said, twitching and shivering a little before leaning over a bush and puking. So gross, so wrong. Why? Why me? Why again? Naruto said, shaking all the snake goo off of himself. Once he was relatively goo-free, he looked up to the man who was looking at them with a smirk. Well then He then promptly broke out into a fit of coughing. Is he choking on his scroll? Well, it's your own fault, Sakura said to the man. He doesn't seem all that threatening when he gets thwarted by his own ideas, Sasuke said deadpan. Naruto smiled and couldn't help but laugh. Ha ha. I can't believe he did that. I mean, however, his victory was also short-lived as he too started coughing and spiting. Agaga. Pleth. Naruto spat before going over and licked a tree, getting strange looks from Sasuke and Sakura. What was that all about? Sasuke asked. Naruto looked to Sasuke with a comical but pained look on his face. I got snake goo in my mouth, he screamed. His teammate's sweat dropped to Naruto's comment. Anyway, maybe we should attack that guy before he recovers, Haku said, pointing to the mystery choking man as a bit of goo ran down his finger. Sasuke nodded and took off towards him in a run and punched the man right in the gut. Sasuke watched as the man recoiled slightly and then wiped his lips. I'll finish this quickly, he said, and began flashing through seals. Just who are you anyway? Sasuke said angrily. The man laughed. I am Orochimaru. He finished his seals and head flew out and his neck stretched. Sasuke jumped back, but it did little good as Orochimaru bit his neck. Sasuke. Sakura screamed. No. Naruto screamed full blast as he jumped at Orochimaru's neck, red chakra surrounding him. He lunged at Orochimaru like an attack dog and bit the snake man back and dug his claws in as hard as he could, trying to stop him before he could finish his jutsu on Sasuke. Let him go, Naruto screamed, although it came out muffled. Orochimaru gave a pained grunt, but didn't let go of Sasuke. Naruto bit and dug in harder. Blood trickled down his hands and mouth and dripped onto the ground by his feet. After a few seconds that seemed more like hours, Orochimaru let go of Sasuke and the curse seal formed above the bite. Sasuke stumbled back and put his hand over it. He gritted his teeth against the pain, but was too stubborn to fall over. You bastard! Naruto screamed, letting his anger rise. More and more red chakra leaked off of him, forcing out fox ears and a tail. Although it looked like pure chakra. Sakura ran over to Sasuke to help him stand. Haku had moved over to Naruto. A kunai flew towards Naruto, making him let go of the skinny neck and dodge. As soon as Naruto was away from Orochimaru, his neck retracted, and Haku leapt in, making his signature ice dome. Well. What have we here? Orochimaru said smugly. Haku began quickly throwing water-made senbon needles from every direction. The snake man held a kunai tightly as he deflected almost all of the deadly objects away. Haku stood his ground and had his image in every one of the mirrors. Haku was about to switch to Shuriken when Orochimaru began doing hand signs. Now it's my turn, he sneered. His mouth opened wide and a giant burst of flame came out. The real Haku had wisely moved behind him beforehand and watched in shock as the fire blasted through half his mirrors. He now had a clear escape, but he didn't take it. Instead, he shifted his position and slowly moved around, burning the remaining mirrors. Haku came flying out as the fire burned the mirror he was occupying. Naruto had been using this small window of time to build up more chakra, and now had 4 long tails behind him. The snake goo now incinerated by the burning hot chakra. Sasuke went to catch Haku before he went into a nearby tree. Sasuke caught him and managed to avoid smashing into anything himself, but did end up falling to his knees from exhaustion. Sakura ran over to them trying to help Sasuke and Haku. Naruto looked over to Sakura, blood-red eyes holding compassion and sincerity as they looked upon her. Make sure you keep them from being hurt. Naruto said in a rather deep and gruff voice that sounded like his own merging with another. She took in his new appearance. Red eyes that seemed to calm her rather than scare her like she knew they should. His whisker-like scars were enlarged into triangular marks, although there was still a thin line in the dead center. Almost as if the scars were branching out from the middle and running longer across his face. But most noticeable of all was the red chakra surrounding him. It seemed to take on a shape of its own, mimicking a feral animal with 4 tails. Naruto smiled at her, flashing his now sharp fangs, and gave thumbs up with a clawed hand. "Don't worry, I'll get him," he said before turning to Orochimaru. His face instantly changed when his eyes fell upon the man. He had a pained and hateful look, and in his eyes were bloodlust instead, making Sakura shiver. "Oh, and it seems the cursed child can use his accursed power. Now this will be interesting," the man smirked. "But I know how to fix your little power surge," he said, taking a step back. "Not so fast," Naruto said, rearing a hand back and forcibly punching the air. The chakra flared out and grabbed onto the snake man's hand, stopping him in mid-seal. "It seems the cursed kid has a few tricks after all, but a dog is a dog after all, even if it's been trained," he sneered as his arm burnt. Sakura looked up from the hurt males and over to Naruto. A chill ran up her spine as Naruto's waves of demonic aura hit her. The bloodlust was so strong she forgot to breathe in that instant. "I can feel his chakra from here. It's so intense. He wants to kill that man, and those vibes are directed towards that man, but still." Sakura looked towards his worryingly. "Oh," Haku said as he opened his eyes, staring up at Sakura. "What's going on?" Haku asked, sitting up as he caught a bit of the anger flaring off of Naruto. The snake man broke free of the burning grip and attacked with a fire jutsu. "So you like to play with fire, do you?" Orochimaru said, blowing out his fireball. Sakura turned away, but Haku didn't. However, a strange noise from the battlefield made her turn back, only to see Naruto just standing there. He didn't move, he didn't block, he just stood there. The fire hit him square on, but instead of burning him, it enveloped him, swirling around and forming around him. Naruto crouched low as another tail emerged from behind him. "Don't you know not to fight fire with fire?" Chapter 15. "Don't you know you can't fight fire with fire?" Naruto sneered as he crouched, getting ready for an attack. Haku looked on, stunned at the scene in front of him. Do you know what's going on?" he said, voice quivering from the force of Naruto's killer aura. Sakura shook her head in reply, not wanting to peel her eyes away from the fight. Orochimaru's eyes widened as Naruto flashed forward and gave him a swift roundhouse kick to the head. The snake man went flying into a nearby tree as Naruto went after him. Sakura watched as Naruto slowly took the fight with the snake man deeper and deeper into the forest and further away from her view. "He's leading him away," Haku said, stunned. "I think I know what he's doing," Sakura said, voice quiet. Haku looked up, eyes widening as he began to realize what Naruto's plan was. "This guy's really powerful," Sakura began. "And if Naruto can use all of his chakra in one big burst," she allowed her sentence to trail off, "it will make him seem as if he's just as strong, enabling him to lure Orochimaru away." Haku finished solemnly. "I think he's pulling a sacrifice," Sakura gasped out loud. Naruto moved Orochimaru into a small area that had a number of trees missing and finally, panting hard, turned to face the dangerous man. "Coo. The snake man laughed. "Pushing me further and further away from your friends in hopes that they can make it away. Well, I have news for you, you accursed brat. Once I kill you, I will just go back and kill your friends." Orochimaru laughed again as Naruto watched him. The snake man's laugh was silenced when Naruto smiled and began laughing with him. "You think that's why I led you away?" Naruto laughed again. "Well, you're wrong. I led you away so that I could use this and not have them witness it." Naruto stopped laughing as he bit his thumb. A few drops of blood dripped out before the wound steamed and closed. Naruto's hands flashed in seals as he jumped to dodge a kunai aimed for his head. Orochimaru recognized a few of the seals and knew instantly it was a summoning jutsu. Orochimaru let a number of projectiles go flying in hopes to stop the impending summon. Naruto dogged them smoothly, and in one final leap he finished the hand seals. As he headed down to the ground, Naruto flipped in midair until he was falling head first, one arm stretched outward ready to slam into the ground to complete the summon. Orochimaru braced himself, arms crossed firmly over his chest. As the smoke cleared in the field with Orochimaru, Naruto smiled. Although he was no longer covered in his fiery protection, he was still at the advantage. Orochimaru had started a summon as well, and now stood on top of a mid-level snake summon, while Naruto stood on top of Kyuubi. The fox's tails lashed out, knocking over a nearby tree as it growled. Although Orochimaru was truly scared for his life, he didn't show it. Instead, he stood atop his snake, stone-faced. "I don't know much about the way things may work out in the forest," Naruto began. "But I do know one thing. Foxes eat snakes." Naruto shouted out the last sentence with humor evident in his voice as Kyuubi began to charge. Orochimaru's snake hissed as it too charged. The snake lashed out its tail and the fox dodged, clamping its jaws around its long scaly stomach. The snake hissed in pain as it bit back, causing Kyuubi to yelp in surprise, forcing him to drop the snake. After a quick lick of his now sore paw, Kyuubi charged forward. Orochimaru launched a few shuriken at Naruto, who was still standing atop the fox. Naruto's eyes were closed and didn't move as the shuriken approached. Instead, the fox lashed out one of his tails and batted them away like flies. The fox let out an angered roar as it lunged forward. The snake moved to the left as the fox attacked right, its sharp claws sliding along the side of the reptile. Orochimaru watched the fox's movements very carefully, as well as Naruto's moves. That brat may have summoned the form of that demon, but he still is the one controlling it. I may have the advantage if I'm tactical about this. Two separate brains versus two bodies controlled by the same brain. Although if I let my guard down for even a second, he could easily end everything I've worked so hard to achieve. Orochimaru thought to himself as he watched the fox. He made a clone appear from behind the fox, and it rose out of the mud, and quickly went about his plan. The clone jumped into the trees as the snake distracted the fox. The clone then quickly jumped onto the fox's back and punched Naruto. Naruto's eyes fluttered open and attacked the clone back as Kyuubi continued to watch the snake. Kyuubi launched himself at the snake, digging its claws deep into its skin as well as flicking a tail over its back, knocking of the mud clone. The clone melted, leaving behind an explosive tag. Naruto noticed it a second too late as it blew him off of Kyuubi. Naruto was quickly losing strength and couldn't stop himself from being thrown to the ground. Naruto grunted as he stood up. Well, are you getting tired?" Orochimaru sneered. "Well, you may be running out of energy, but I still have plenty in me." Orochimaru yelled as he jumped off of his snake's head and charged for Naruto. "Don't count me down just yet, you lousy snake." Naruto screamed as he charged, his kunai at the ready. The two ninja clashed, but true to his word, Orochimaru still had some chakra left. Naruto was overpowered by the snake man, and his kunai was flicked out of his hand. Orochimaru sliced down Naruto's arm, making the young blonde scream in pain. The kunai that Naruto had a hold of fell a ways away in a shrub. Damn it all. That was my last one. He might win. Naruto tried to move his injured right arm and failed. The wound that Orochimaru had inflicted started at the top of his arm near his shoulder and ran down to his mid-forearm, just a couple of inches above his wrist. The blood loss was causing him to feel dizzy and unbalanced. Orochimaru slammed an elbow into his gut, sending Naruto flying backwards. He kept his footing, although he stumbled and coughed up a bit of blood. Naruto spat out the bile and tried to retaliate. Orochimaru easily dodged and gave him a slice up his back. Naruto gasped out a breath as pain ran through his body. Kyuubi was having no trouble keeping the snake at bay after the deep wound from his claws. With one final bite, the snake summon vanished in a cloud of white smoke. Kyuubi looked around and soon spotted Naruto fighting against the snake man. The fox also noticed that Orochimaru was paying no attention to him and decided to use this to his advantage. He slowly dropped to a crouch and began moving subtly closer to the snake man. "What's the matter? No fight left in you," the snake man said as he slashed at Naruto's shirt. His sweatshirt was opened up, revealing a sliced t-shirt. Orochimaru sliced at the fabric with ease even though Naruto dodged pitifully. The front of his t-shirt now completely cut open, revealing his belly. Orochimaru smiled. Ah, so this is what that pitiful man used to seal that beast? Well then. He drew his right hand back while his left inflicted more damage to the blonde. After about a minute, Naruto was thoroughly beat, bloody and battered. Now for the finishing touch. This will keep that fuzz ball at bay. 5-prong seal. And with that, Orochimaru slammed his hand into Naruto's stomach. Kyuubi jumped out of the bushes and ran towards the snake man, but stopped abruptly when he saw what he had done. Naruto lurched backwards and a bit of spit and blood flew out his mouth. "Why, you bastard," he said on a shaky breath before his eyes closed and he slumped forward. Orochimaru began to laugh, but stopped cold when he heard a growling noise from behind him. The snake man looked up, fear in his eyes evident as he stared at the fox. How can you still be here?" he screamed in a mix of anger and fear. Kyuubi smiled, showing a shiny row of blood-drenched teeth. "Once I'm out, I'm given my own chakra supply. Therefore once the boy lets me free, I'm not connected to him anymore." Kyuubi charged forward, pinning the snake man beneath a massive paw. Although he was only the size of an average 2-story building, he still struck fear into the man when he spoke. "Why, you can't kill me," Orochimaru rasped out. "Oh!" Kyuubi roared, spraying saliva all over the snake man. "We can be partners. I can help. Why you like destroying the villages? I can give you the opportunity to seek revenge on the Leaf village." Kyuubi roared at the man. "We can share the glory of a new empire. I can use you power. I ask you, why would I help a pitiful man like you? I am loyal to the kid there, idiot though he may be, he is still my responsibility. He showed me kindness even after all the threats and hurtful things I said to him. I will not show his trust has been misplaced." Kyuubi roared at the man beneath his paw and couldn't help but grin as he shook uncontrollably. Kyuubi slowly unsheathed his claws and dug them into the man. The fox wanted him to suffer. His claw slowly dug into the snake man's midsection, effectively putting 2 large holes into him. Orochimaru screamed in pain as the fox moved up a few inches and repeated the process. Kyuubi's eyes brightened a bit as he dug out a scroll from the carnage. With his other paw he flicked the scroll over towards Naruto. "I would love to just leave you here to suffer and bleed to death, but I know from experience you are a tenacious little cockroach." Kyuubi placed his paw just below the man's quivering neck. He began to dig in a single claw, effectively cutting his windpipe. Orochimaru gasped a last breath before his quivering body and scream stilled. Kyuubi sneered. "How does it feel to have everything taken away from you in one small instant? That's what you asked the kid when you killed his friends, the closest thing he had to family. So now it's your turn to experience the pain he went through." Kyuubi whispered into the ear of the lifeless form. "And just to make sure there is no possible way for a revival." Kyuubi flicked one of his tails angrily, and a wave of excess flame washed over the mangled body, incinerating it, turning it to ash. All over the forest the other ninja could feel a change in the air. Almost as if a killing intent was emitting from the forest itself. One ninja, however, had a very different take on this change. The ninja laughed as he felt this change. He watched his teammates as shivers ran up their spines, and laughed even harder. Then, as he laughed, he closed his fist, killing his last victim. "What is this feeling? I must know. Mother, your sand longs for it." As he spoke, his teammates shivered again. Gaara of the desert now had a new goal, and it made him laugh even more. His maniacal laughter echoed through the forest as birds fluttered away. The fox, now huffing, walked over to Naruto's form. The seal still showed on his skin. Kyuubi picked up the bloody scroll in one of his tails and put it in Naruto's hand. After the release of his chakra for the flame wave, Kyuubi was shrinking. He picked up Naruto in another tail and began to move him closer to where Sakura was. He hoped she was still close by. Kyuubi got to the edge of where Sakura's scent was strongest and put Naruto gently down. Kyuubi looked through the trees and saw her sitting in a hollowed log with Sasuke and Haku. He made a loud rustling noise and snapped a few twigs until he knew he got their attention. The Kyuubi let his remaining chakra be reabsorbed by the blonde. Sakura looked up from Sasuke's form as she heard a rustling sound. Haku stood up with her and they both went to investigate. And Naruto. Sakura screamed when she saw his body laying in the dirt. He was covered in blood, and his right arm looked to be in an awkward position, but that's not what made her gasp. Naruto's shirt was sliced open and an intricate design was on his stomach. Is he? Sakura started, but couldn't find the right words. She squeaked as the seal began to fade. Haku stood up from examining the body. It's alright, he's alive. Barely. Sakura looked relieved, but only slightly. She and Haku quickly brought Naruto back to the log to safely. Do you think the snake guy did that thing that was on Naruto just like he did? Whatever it is he did to Sasuke. Sakura said as she placed a wet cloth on Naruto's forehead. I don't think he gave Sasuke such an intricate hickey. Haku said. But he most likely did this to Naruto. Haku looked at what he had clasped in his hand. Look, he has the other scroll. Haku said, holding it up. Sakura took it gently as if it would break. She smiled softly. We should move, she said finally. Haku looked up confused. We have both the scrolls now, we should take them to the center of the forest. They'll be able to get the care they need there. Sakura said, standing up and pocketing the scroll. I won't let them down. I'm tired of being told to sit and watch from the sidelines. I won't fail them, she thought to herself. Haku nodded and stood, picking Sasuke up onto his shoulder easily. I understand, I will help them even if it cost me my life. Haku began to walk off. Sakura nodded and picked up Naruto in the same manner. She sprinted until she was in stride with Haku. While the pair walked, they didn't take notice to the mark on Sasuke's neck. It had begun to spin and was glowing slightly. The walk to the center of the forest was grueling, but they were thankful not run into any enemy ninja. They did, however, run into Team Guy. They were in the area and had already managed to find their second scroll when they ran into Lee. He had took them to Tenten and Neji and managed to convince them to help out. Tenten and Neji now carried the unconscious pair while they all walked together. Sakura was silently thankful for what Lee had done for her, and made a mental note to repay him somehow. They soon reached the center tower and parted ways with Team Guy. Lee was droning on the whole way about how he will always protect his blossom of love, and was still doing so when Neji took him away. They stood at one of the entrances to the tower and quietly pushed open the doors. They placed their friends on the floor and opened the scrolls after about 5 minutes of wondering what the poem meant. Sakura was thankful for many things at this moment. 1. Her friends were all safe. 2. It only took them half a day to get to the tower after Naruto returned to them. And 3. Urka-sensei was there to greet them at the end of a long journey. That's it for this part. If you enjoyed it, then like, share and subscribe, and also check out the playlist.